Hello everyone, welcome to another video. Technically in this video what I'm going to kind of go is through a little bit of a short kind of demonstration of the app MyFitnessPal, checking how to use it and maybe any efficient kind of tips that might be appeal for you. Now mainly these are going to be videos for, let's say, my clients who are generally going to be with me on a face-to-face concept, but you'll be able to obviously learn by the end of this video how to obviously be able to use this platform. So on my phone right now, so you can see I'm probably looking down as the camera onto it now. I'm going to be opening up the MyFitnessPal app. Now I've already got myself set up on this, so I'm generally going to be guessing that we've already gone through the phase of setting up your calories, setting up yourself and putting your details into the app. So I'm going to go and just generally explain the general basics as well as other topics along the things. So when you're pretty enough open the app, you'll be obviously opened up to the home page. Pretty enough from there, you can obviously see your goal, which is going to be the calories you're going to be eating, the food that you've already consumed. So for me, that would be 802 calories in this video, plus the exercise that you've done, and then obviously equal the remainder of the exercises you've done. And generally, that is going to be obviously the thing that you're going to be mostly looking at, other than obviously adding your food and stuff like that. So most of the time, when you first of all set up MyFitnessPal, obviously you're giving your details and therefore it gives you with an estimated calorie intake. If you want to change that, by all means and right, it's not usually, for me, in my opinion, it's generally not always correct. So I generally get to change it through a website. I will put a link right here. And therefore what we'll do is we'll obviously adapt the calories to obviously stuff like your physical activity, your height, your weight, and so on and so on. So the way you can obviously do that is if you go into more in the bottom right corner. For anyone asking me, I'm using an iPhone here, obviously. So if you're on Android, it might look a little bit different from you. But once you go into more, you want to be clicking on goals. And straight away, that's going to be setting you up. So as you can obviously see here, this is kind of my main things. I've kind of kept my weekly goals and my activity levels kind of the same because I'm not really going to be changing that. The things that I really want to be changing is under nutrition goals. So I'm going to click on that, and that's going to kind of give my breakdown. Now, obviously, your macro split is going to depend on your physical activity and your goals ahead. So for me, I'm currently trying to lose a little bit of weight. So therefore, my calories are a little bit lower than what it usually would be. My carbohydrates are a little bit lower, and I've increased the protein intake. Once you've got yourself set up, then pretty much from there, you want to start adding the food that you're having. So if I were to go onto diary, I've already put in a couple of food. I've had my breakfast, I've had my lunch. If you were to do that and add something on there, obviously what you do is press the middle button plus. From there, it's going to give you a multitude of things. Obviously, it's going to give you a weight. So if you want to track your weight on there, that's perfectly fine. You can give your water weight. You can do food status if you want to, if you've got friends on MyFitnessPal. And you can also track your exercises on there as well. But just for the purpose of this video, we're going to be tracking our food. So we're going to be putting a video there. Then it's going to give you a category of where you want to put it. So lunch, you know that. You can actually just add the food straight away. So you can actually skip the adding bit. But I thought it would be a good thing to show you the other side of things. So let's say we say snacks. So from there, you've already kind of see what I've been eating in the past. It kind of gives you a general description of what you've had before. So let's just say I would eat, let's say, a bowl of cereal. So I'll say bran flakes. I click on bran flakes. So automatically as I click on bran flakes, it's going to give you the serving size and the number of servings. This is ideally where I would probably recommend to you to getting yourself a weight scales. Because in that way, you can be a little bit more accurate in weighing your food. Or you can go off the general recommended serving size of it. Now, when you go on serving size, you can see there's a different amount. So whether you're working grams, you can work in ounces, depends. From there, once you've put your actual general amount, so I'm just going to say 100 calories, 100 grams, put my numbers in, press the tick button in the top right corner, head there. Now, obviously, I'm not going to have bran flakes on my own, unless you're a complete weirdo. I'm going to have milk with it. So I'm going to type my milk in. I generally have skim milk. Now, what usually happens is, if it's been verified, the food that you're having, it will have a little green tick on it. Now, that doesn't mean that the ones that you have are not correct. Generally, the ones that are all in there generally correct macros and nutrients, but it can be a little bit more of a safe bet, making sure that you're clicking on the green items. So I've already put my skim milk that I usually have. I usually have about 300 milliliters. And you can see there, 105 calories, 15 grams, 0 gram fat, and 10 protein. So that I put that in. And then from there, it's going to have an add feature. So once I've added all my ingredients, so obviously there, don't put anything else on there, I'm going to add it. And you can see straight away in my snacks, it's already added on, and therefore automatically added on to my total calories. So I'm just going to take them now. So obviously if you didn't want them food, all you have to do is swipe to the left, it gives you the delete button, which you can click. So I will do that now. Now, while you're tracking your food, things might happen in the day. Let's say you go out for a meal, a certain event changes, or someone buys you like an Easter egg, because we're around that kind of Easter period right now. So you want to check your nutrients to make sure that, one, you can have it in calories, but also as well if it fits your macros if you're trying to be specific, or let's say you're trying to hit like a protein target. So I'll go on more again, and then I'll hit my nutrients. That's nutrition. From there, you can see a kind of breakdown of what I've had already. Saying that I've just deleted the bran flakes and the milk, so they're no longer in my database. But you can see here, generally from what I've already had, I've had 44 grams of protein, 74 grams of carbs, 13 grams of fat, 25 grams of sugar, 37 grams of fat. And you can see my general total. So you can see how much is left. This is going to be a really good tool for you to make sure that you're hitting them numbers. And also as well, one thing that I will mention before after this is you can also scan the barcodes, so it makes it a lot easier. So you don't actually particularly have to add them, but what you can do is you can add them before you eat them, and therefore you can already see if it fits your kind of macros or your calorie target. The way you would do that is go back into your diary, you would add your food, same again, just going to go snack, and you can see right next to the search bar, you've got your scanner. Now, if it's the first time of using this, it's going to ask you for permission to use your camera, just press yes. And then from there, you can scan your barcode. As you can see, that's use camera. Once it's automated, you can put your food in. Now, if it's not picking up the barcode, you can put it in manually. So that's a really good tool to obviously use. So I'm not going to add anything there. But this is a really good way of making sure you're keeping track on in a day. So more than likely, I will probably give a specific kind of protein target that I probably would say to myself or to my clients. So ideally, I would probably get them to hit that target. Now, if you're someone like me, and the act of tracking your calories, or should I say, putting your foods that you generally have every single day, becomes a monotonous task, you can either put them in regularly every single day, or you can save them as a recipe. So therefore, obviously, when you come back to that food later on in the day, in the week, if you have it again, then that way you don't have to keep adding these single ingredients, and then you can obviously add it as a full meal. So the way you would do that is, same again, we'll go into the more menu. From there, I'm going to put in my meals, recipes, and foods. And as you can already see, I put in some stuff like that. Let's just say the Miles Mint Special. Very nice. But if you were to create a recipe, you can add it straight away from the web, or you can enter your ingredients manually. So that's a really good tool as well. Especially if you're picking the ingredients as well from the website, you can copy the URL code straight into the MyFitnessPal. It makes it really efficient for you. Now, MyFitnessPal lets you allow you to connect to devices. So for example, on my left-hand wrist, I've got a Fitbit, so which obviously counts my steps. So if I were to obviously add my devices, I would go into more again, app and devices, click on that, allow me to click on it. Right, for some odd reason, it's not allowing me to do it. But what happens is you got a right hand panel that obviously allows you to then obviously have assistant what you trying to say? Assistant connections obviously with your devices, or you can add a new device. Now automatically there's a massive list of devices that you can connect to. So all you need to do, let's say Fitbit for example, you just go and find Fitbit, search it in, and automatically connect. And then you'll go through the Fitbit app and add it yourself. Now, when I'm usually with my clients, I usually get your diary now to change to friends or view by friends. The reason why I get to do that is because I will add you on my FitnessPal. So therefore I can see your diary. So I can see when you're doing well, when you're fucking up, and when you're just not generally tracking calories in. So the way you can do that, again, we go on more, go on friends, and then from there, obviously all we need to do is add our friends and go from there. Once you've added me as a friend, all you need to do is go into settings, go on diary settings, and then from there, diary sharing, and then obviously I've got it as private, but I will want you to put it as friends only. Or if you want the whole world to see, put it as public. It's all by yourself. One thing I would automatically make sure you do as well, in the settings as well, is make sure you put the use multi-add by default. It's going to make a lot of things easier, like it has when I'm obviously adding material in. Now, a few tips or tricks that I always say is, now you can see on the main menu, on the home menu, that we have an exercise column. Now, over the time, when you've done obviously exercise yourself, or you've done steps, that number is going to accrete and take off calories, or should I say add on calories to your remainder, because you burn more calories. I wouldn't, and I strongly recommend this, I wouldn't eat back them calories. So I would forget it. The reason why I would forget it is if, for example, let's say a weight loss goal, you're trying to make a calorie deficit. So you're trying to burn more fat, should I say burn more calories and able to burn more fat. So why would you want to eat your calories back up then to go back up to a maintenance? And sometimes, unfortunately, as much as we use these devices, and we wish they would be, they're not that reliable. There are many stories shows that multiple devices, let's say Fitbit, Garmin, and stuff like that, show different results through steps, about 5,000 step. So if it's not 100% reliable, we therefore don't want to eat back our calories. Neither should we eat back our calories anyway if we want to create that deficit. So I would completely ignore that. So I would probably just go off the goal and then obviously go off your remainder as well. The other tip I have, and I mentioned this previously before in the video, is let's say you're going down to your favorite restaurant. Let's say you're going to Nando's, and you particularly know what you're going to have. Now, most websites now have their menus online. What you can kind of do is prior to before going out for your meal, you can have a look at the menu, pick the foods that you're going to be selected. What I recommend is this, because obviously you're not going to be what's the word I'm trying to think of? You're not going to be advertised to go and eat something else if you look at the menu when you're there. But what you can do is add the food that you're going to have already into your diary. So therefore already you know what you're going to be having and what you can have around that day to make sure you stay on track of your goals. So that would be a generally good tip. Generally for me, there will be all the kind of things you can necessarily need. Now, looking at your progress, obviously you could use that for obviously making sure you're keeping things in track, like your weights and stuff like that, but that will be for a completely different video. So there's obviously a little bit of readings of how much I weigh, why I weigh daily and stuff like that. But I generally believe that's everything we need to be talking about. So I'll end the video here. If you have any questions, by all means, you can either email me at miles.harrison@profitpt.co.uk, or you can go to my website, www.mhperformance.co.uk. Give me a shout. If you get stuck, by all means, like I said, just give me a shout. Make sure you thumbs up the video, subscribe to the video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.